Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta. We are a liberal religious tradition of many theologies and shared values. I'm Jezebel Anand. I'm your worship associate for today. And in the pulpit is our own Reverend Don Cameron speaking on "The Present Moment is All We Have." So let's begin with our opening hymn. And here's David Netchess, our music director.
Good morning, everybody. Our opening hymn this morning is number 359, When We Are Gathered, and both of our hymns today are being sung by Melanie Larson, and so please feel free to join along at home. When We Are Gathered, number 359.
And now we have announcements from our board member, Natalie Reese.
Good morning. Coffee with the Minister for our visitors will be conducted today via Zoom following the service. There will be a Zoom link in the chat at the end of the service that you can use to access this informal discussion. A reminder that Sunday RE classes for school-age kids, grades K through 5, have resumed, meeting from 10:10 to 10:50. The classes will be led by Lynn Bonner with the help of Kim Miner. The Zoom link and other information are in your announcements. The Humanist Free Thought group will meet tonight at 5 p.m. online. Contact Frank Carl for information. The Parents group will meet today online at 12:15 after the regular Sunday service. The link is in this week's announcements. The middle and high school age youth group will meet this evening online at 6:30 to 8 p.m. The Zoom link is in your announcements as well. The UU Monday Meditation Group gathering will meet online and face-to-face in the sanctuary in a hybrid meeting tomorrow evening, Monday, March 22nd, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Contact Elizabeth McNabb or Melanie Roberts for information. Those who are interested in meeting in person in the church on Monday nights should get in touch with Chris Garcia and let him know by today. This Wednesday evening exploration group meets Wednesday, March 24th at 7 p.m. via Zoom, and we'll be discussing How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi. Call Jan Parsons for more information. The Portable Book Club's next gathering is Thursday, March 25th online at 7 p.m. They'll be discussing The Library of Legends by Janie Chang, led by Pat Lynch Hayes. Contact Liz Goodson for information. This upcoming Saturday, March 27th, there will be a play date from 2:30 to 4:30 for the elementary age kids and their parents for some outdoor time at the church playground. So far, the weather prediction is warm and sunny. A craft activity will be led by Lynn Bonner. Please check this week's e-announcements for the contact information for these groups and others you may wish to register for. There's also a link to the UUCA calendar that will let you know what's going on at the church during the week and the month. Please note that the church office will be closed March 31st through April 13th. At the March 18th Board of Trustees meeting and at the recommendation of the reopening team, the board voted to move into phase 4 of the church's reopening guidelines, beginning immediately. This primarily expands the number of individuals allowed in the church building at any one time from less than 15 to 15 or more. This permits larger attendance at group meetings and lectures to take place in areas such as the sanctuary and common room. Yes, there is a phase 5, but just not yet. Close your eyes and remember the Sunday services in January 2020. That's our goal and may be very possible in the fall of this year or possibly earlier. Until then, the worship committee and the AV team are working diligently to have a satisfying hybrid Sunday service by the end of April. However, until the current CDC guidelines for faith-based organizations change, their and our current guidelines are still in effect. The CDC guidelines are expected to be revised soon. A description of the phase 4 requirements will be posted in both the announcements and the April newsletter. Please let your board liaison and the church administrator know if you wish to meet at the church. The seating in the sanctuary has been arranged to ensure 6 feet of distance between individuals, and some seating is arranged to allow couples from the same household to sit together. Please do not move the chairs from their current positions if attending a scheduled event. Finally, the link to the Georgia Department of Public Health COVID-19 and Augusta University immunization information is in your e-announcements. Immunized or not, please continue to follow the current CDC guidelines for hand hygiene, face covering, and social distancing. Have a great week.
Thank you, Natalie. And now let us enter into our time of worship. Our chalice lighting words are by A. Powell Davies. Let our hearts be open, and what we would receive from others, let us give. For what is given still remains to bless the giver when the gift is love. And now Pat Lynch Hayes from our pastoral care team will receive the congregation's joys and sorrows.
Now is the time in our service when we are invited to share the joys and sorrows that have entered into our lives recently. We first remember.
So I'll drop a stone for the collective joys and sorrows of our congregation, and also ones for the victims of the shooting in Atlanta, and remind ourselves that there is still much more work to do to end the hatred and violence among the many citizens of our nation. And now this is our time of meditation. So I invite you now, relax wherever you're sitting or standing. Take a few deep breaths, feel your feet on the earth. Allow your spine to be straight, allow your jaw to relax. This is the time of the spring equinox. So please relax and enjoy this reflection on the spring equinox. Stephen?
The equinoxes are the balance points of the year, when day and night are of equal length. After the vernal equinox, the light will continue to increase until we reach the longest day at the summer solstice. Now in the height of spring, we celebrate the widening, warming days of the greening, growing season. From their roots in the depth of the earth, the stems push upward, upward into sun and light. The blossoms burst open. The vigor of life surrounds us. The spring can move us forward as well, into a time of growth, flourishing, and progress.
Weep no more, for the sun is returning. The summer stars will shine once more, my friend. The warming winds will soothe away our sorrows. The wheel turns and brings us home again. True love warmth, true love the sun, and the blossoming of spring has begun. Let the light return again and shine in the hearts of women and men. I am a leaf in a tall, tall tree, and the wind that blows it free. And the river it floats to the ocean shore, and the fiery sun that boils the sea. I am, you are, we are one. I am, you are, we are one. I'm the rock, the bark, the rain that falls, and the birds upon their wings. The snakes, the fish, and all things with claws. You'll find I'm everything. I am, you are, we are one. I am, you are, we are one. See your face in the mirror, what you see is me. I connect everyone you meet. Your mother, your father, your daughter, your son. I am in everyone. I am, you are, we are one. I am, you are, we are one.
March is Women's History Month, and in honor of that, we have asked members of our congregation to share readings about women's history, and today's reader is Amanda May.
Good morning. When I was asked to find a reading, I wanted to find something that represents courage, and I thought about the American author Judy Blume. When I was about 12 years old, I read her book, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And looking back, it's probably the first time my mind started to be open about religious beliefs that I wasn't raised with. So this piece is called Judy Blume Talks About Censorship. It's on her website. When I began to write 30 years ago, I didn't know if anyone would publish my books, but I wasn't afraid to write them. I was lucky. I found an editor and publisher who were willing to take a chance. They encouraged me. I was never told what I couldn't write. I felt only that I had to write the most honest books I could. It never occurred to me at the time that what I was writing was controversial. Much of it grew out of my own feelings and concerns when I was young. Communism? There were a few challenges to my books then, although I remember the night a woman phoned, asking if I had written, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. When I replied that I had, she called me a communist and slammed down the phone. I never did figure out if she equated communism with menstruation or religion, the two major concerns in 12-year-old Margaret's life. But in 1980, the censors crawled out of the woodwork, seemingly overnight, organized and determined. Not only would they decide what their children could read, but what all children could read. Challenges to books quadrupled within months, and we'll never know how many teachers, school librarians, and principals quietly removed books to avoid trouble. Fear. I believe that censorship grows out of fear, and because fear is contagious, some parents are easily swayed. Book banning satisfies their need to feel in control of their children's lives. This fear is often disguised as moral outrage. They want to believe that if their children don't read about it, their children won't know about it. and if they don't know about it, it won't happen. Today, it's not only language and sexuality, the usual reasons given for banning my books, that will land a book on the censor's hit list. It's Satanism, New Ageism, and 100 other isms. Some of it would make you laugh if the implications weren't so serious. Books that make kids laugh often come under suspicion. So do books that encourage kids to think or question authority. Books that don't hit the head with moral lessons are considered dangerous. Ideas. Censors don't want children exposed to ideas different from their own. If every individual with an agenda had her way, the shelves in the school library would be close to empty. I wish the censors could read the letters kids write, such as this one. Dear Judy, I don't know where I stand in the world. I don't know who I am. That's why I read, to find myself. Elizabeth, age 13. But Judy says, it's not just the books under fire now that worry me. It is the books that will never be written, the books that will never be read, and all due to the fear of censorship. As always, young readers will be the real losers.
Thank you, Amanda. And now we are in the season of growth and blossoming. Our Mother Earth is generous with her vegetation, with her greens, fruits, flowers, and all the beauty that she provides to feed us. And in the same way, we ask the members of our church to be generous, to help sustain our work here as we continue to grow and blossom and struggle through the difficulties of this COVID so that we can blossom once more in person when we can gather again in our own garden. So please be generous. The link will be posted both on the screen and in the chat. And here is David with our offertory.
Before I begin, I'd like to thank Amanda Mann. I had not heard that reading before, and I was moved. And our own Jezebel. The meditation was just wonderful, and I hope everyone realizes how much work it is to do a video like that, but wonderfully done. I guess the third thing I'll say, I'm not going to say this is a Buddhist sermon, but it is. What is keeping you from living your life to the fullest? My colleague, Peter Sampson, offers a few hints for a fulfilling life. I would like to share them with you. Try to enjoy life's ordinary things, the everyday experiences, from a meal to greeting a friend. Keep your perspective. A longer view than today's helps to overcome frustrations and disappointments. Do something about your worries. If nothing can be done to alleviate them, then disregard them as pointless. Have high standards in everything you do, but avoid becoming a perfectionist. There can be no perfection in a living, growing world. Accept the diversity of your world, relax and enjoy it. People are different. Let yourself trust people, and in doing so, judge them by the best you know about them rather than the meanest and weakest. Never compare yourself with others or your lot with theirs. You can't know enough about them for that in any case. Remember that in all probability, the universe was not created for your personal benefit, nor means you harm. Give yourself, your energies and resources to something larger and more enduring than your own self and pleasures. Make something other than just happiness your goal. Happiness eludes all its pursuers, yet comes unbidden to those who share, love, and create with their lives. Well, now that you have a few hints about how to live a fulfilling life, what is stopping you from trying to live a fulfilling life? Perhaps you answer back, at least I admit I could be better than I am. If that's your response, then the years will fly by while you wait passively for the new you to materialize. Are you happy with your relationships? Are you happy with yourself? What things are you putting off today that you will regret tomorrow? What are you doing to bring about the changes you desire? Are you making the most of your life? If not, what are you waiting for? If you're waiting for a better time, there is no time better than right now. The present moment is all there is. If you feel you're not ready yet, do what you have to do to ready yourself. The present moment is all you get. The people to whom you have things to say will not be here forever. The doors you want to pass through will not spring open without your touch. The present moment is all you need. If we hope to go anywhere or develop ourselves in any way, we can only step from where we are standing. Writes Jon Kabat-Zinn in his book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. It's a wonderful book. I highly recommend it. He continues, acceptance of the present moment has nothing to do with resignation in the face of what is happening. It simply means a clear acknowledgement that what is happening is happening. Acceptance doesn't tell you what to do, what happens next, what you choose to do. That has to come out of your own understanding of this moment. What is keeping you from living your life to the fullest? We all have a mental file where we store unsolved issues, all the stuff we just can't deal with right now. That troubling distance between mother and child, the silent treatment between friends, old grievances still raw, unexpressed resentments still chafing, a confession to be made, a long talk not yet undertaken, broken promises and dreams deferred, a disquieting fear of change, a crippling sense of victimization, a necessary act of forgiveness. You are the only ones who knows what it is you are running away from. What have you filed away for some other time? What words have you swallowed? What decisions have you put off? What loving gestures are you withholding? What are you proposing? I'm sorry. What are you postponing everything until? Not tomorrow, I hope. Tomorrow will never come, for it's always in the process of transforming itself into today. And that day will be as unremarkable or as extraordinary as this one, depending on how much you value it. Are you waiting for some sign to prod you into action? Look for it where you are now. Are you waiting for some sort of warning before it's too late? Too many people wait until death shows them the true shape and content of their lives. Why not step back now before death becomes our teacher to imagine how our life will look to us when we reach the end of it? Within us is a voice longing to be heard that is waiting for the moment we dare to look within ourselves for guidance. Within each of us, buried under years of socialization, is the sure knowledge of what our true self desires. If you are not living according to your most deeply held values, what is holding you back? Only you can answer that question. I leave you with these ancient words from the Hindu tradition. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. David?
Thank you, Reverend Don. Many words, much to think about there, and good ideas to live our life by. Before we get to our closing hymn, I'd like to say that for the final week of Women's History Month, our postlude is going to be by Mary Lou Williams, is very famous jazz pianist, classical composer, arranger. She was born in 1910, and she was a piano prodigy on the level of Mozart. She learned to play piano by herself at age 3, made her public debut at age 6, and was known around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania as the Little Piano Girl. She turned professional when she was 15, and she was an important likes of Duke Ellington and Benny Goodman and Count Basie and many, many others. People would often question whether Art Tatum could play Lou Williams. And so our postlude today will be a song by Mary Lou Williams called Twinklin', written in 1939, and I hope you enjoy that. And now our closing hymn is hymn number 350, The Ceaseless Flow of Endless Time. Hang on a second.
Shall we our new year round?
closing words are from my colleague, Mark Bellatini. Go in peace, live simply, gently, at home in yourselves. Act justly, speak justly. Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness. Do not desire to be wealthier than your peers, and stint not your hand of charity. Practice forbearance. Speak the truth or speak not. Take care of yourselves as bodies, for you are a good gift. Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves, and go as you go with the dream of that peace alive in your heart.
Thank you.